On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, Asians attack UK Parliament. Can you tell the difference between wadcutters and blanks? Fugitive killed by police car in M44 Cyanide bombs. Okay, good morning everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 58 of the John1911 Podcast. How was your night, Freeze?
It was good.
I'm good. I'm a little tired today. It's been a hell of a week. Is today Friday?
Today is Friday, yes. I'm tired as well, but you know, I've been up all night, so
yeah. I was up too late looking at honestly, I was looking at Bulgarian RPG scopes, RPG sites.
Why?
Well, I need one for the RPG and the armory, and I'd gotten an alert, and I think it's Bulgarian. I have to look. I mean, you know, the thing is with I think it's Bulgaria. A lot of the stuff, it's really Chinese, but it's made on Chinese equipment. In many cases, it's made by Chinese workers, but at factories in Bulgaria. So, yeah, you know, and part of that is because that's how the Chinese got around a lot of these arms embargoes. But so whatever.
Yeah.
So there's this guy in Bulgaria wants to, you know, sell stuff, and it's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I see equipment all the time. Like, you'll see World War II stuff, or, you know, demilled ordnance stuff, and, you know, you'll see it's for sale in Russia, or it's for sale in Ukraine, or it's for sale in China. And it's not that I'm worried that they won't send me what I pay for, because they generally have good reputations at user feedback. I'm just afraid they're going to send me something that, you know, isn't actually demilled and get us in trouble. So, you know, ship warhead.
No, it'll be demilled, or it'll never make it through.
Yeah, never make it through. Yeah, because they're all like, we ship it in 3 parts and 3 separate things. We break it up, and so that way it doesn't get stopped and whatever. And, you know, at the end of the day, you're trusting them that they even know what they're doing.
I bought a lot of stuff from Russia and Poland and that, and generally when I get it, the package has been opened and resealed. But I mean, if it's not demilled, they'll find it. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not something that doesn't come through, but it's rare. They're pretty good about catching it, and you know, and if it's not demilled, you're not going to get it.
You'll get I told you though. I remember it was the Russian. It's I have to turn around and look at it. The SK-75. It's they're you know, and we ordered this thing and it came in, and I was like, I thought we were purchasing a once fired empty tube. Actually what we bought was a fully weighted training device. And so when I opened it, I was like, holy fuck, because it was heavy, and I was like, holy fuck, this thing's loaded. I mean, for about 5 minutes, you know, you're sitting there like, shit.
Yeah, but, you know, when you called me on the phone and was telling me about it, I knew what the deal was. Yeah. I knew it wasn't. I knew, look, trust me, with what we paid for that, they didn't send us a live launcher. Because even their quality control's not going to let that slip through.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it is. I mean, dude, it was like new old stock. It is brand new. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, we took it out of the original wrapping, so it was, you know, really good shape.
Yeah.
So, you know, looking at that, and, you know, once I start looking at that stuff, because I'm looking at the stuff we need. And then I start perusing, and I found a Panzer Shrek for sale.
Yeah.
If people don't know what a Panzer Shrek is, it's basically a Nazi bazooka, as opposed to the Panzer Faust, which is kind of like a primitive Nazi RPG, kinda. Mm-hmm. But all the Panzer Fausts mostly are repop fakes. So, but the Panzer Shrek was real, and I was like, ooh, that's interesting. But, so I start going down the rabbit hole of ordnance and, the next thing you know, it's late and I got to get up early. So I'm just kind of meandering here. Okay. So are we going to discuss the Asian guy attacking British Parliament or not?
Well, I mean,
dude, tell me that isn't fucking awesome.
I mean, look, I don't want to talk a whole lot about it because it's too soon and we haven't heard a lot of the details. But yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that the dude wasn't Asian. I mean,
oh no, they had his picture, but they released his identity last night. It's it's an Islamic name. And
sure,
but here was the one surprise. He's like 51 or 53 years old.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh wow. I mean, that's typically your suicide killer bomber dudes tend to be well under 40, usually in their 20s or 30s. And, while a 51-year-old guy, he falls into the military age male or MAM category, it's not as common to have a 50-some-year-old guy be a terrorist suicide attacker.
Well, but I mean, again, I mean, you don't know what's going down. I mean, like when Jack Ruby shot Oswald, he was dying of cancer. He didn't have anything to lose. Who knows? This guy could have been, knocking on death's door, and he thought, well, I'll take out some infidels on my way or something. I mean, I'm not saying that's the case.
Yeah.
Because if I did say that was the case, that would be spreading fake news.
Yeah. Well,
because everyone knows Asian guys don't go down easy.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you what, we don't have that many listeners in Europe, in the EU. I guess technically the UK is not going to be the EU much longer. You folks over there have lost your goddamn minds. So what had happened this happened, I guess, yesterday. Somebody got on Twitter, I think it was in the UK, and so they released the victim list of all the people that were hurt and all the people that were killed. And this person, 2 Americans were injured, 1 died, there was, all these different ethnicities and nationalities. And this person goes on Twitter and to make this point, isn't it great how multicultural we are just by the list of the victims?
I heard about that, and it's just like, really? Someone needs to really start proofreading your tweets. Yeah. I mean, holy moly.
I mean, that's up there, but no, man, we voted people into the ovens in Auschwitz. It was democracy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just like you are so out of your goddamn mind, logically trying to thread the needle of your bullshit that you don't even realize how dumb you sound.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like unbelievable.
Yeah, we don't need to go deep in on it, but I just wanted to. I didn't know if you'd heard about the person with the Twitter and. Like all the different people and how multicultural we are. Isn't it awesome? It's like, I mean, I can just see somebody who's like really been affected by this kind of stuff taking a baseball bat to that guy's face. I mean, just you are just a bastard.
Yeah.
So, hey, did you see the, I don't know if it was in Tulsa, cause you've been working. So there was a woman armed, car chase. She wrecks and bails. She's running with looked like I don't know if she was a small woman or if it was a big revolver, but it looked big in her hand. And she's running and pointing it at the cops and shooting at the cops, and they're shooting at her. Did you see this?
There's a joke in there somewhere.
Oh, no.
Big in her hand.
The joke.
That's why I date midgets.
Stop, dude. So anyway, this, it's like it's about to turn into a pig pile, and they're, so she's on foot. The one dash cam that's critical. It stops. You hear him on the radio. She stops. She's bailing. The car in the dash cam you're watching starts moving again. It's following her. She does something. He swerves, and then she's running with the gun again. And there's gunfire, and the cop he just ran her over, and she died. It was a fatal. I mean, he used deadly force, and a lot of people are just like, wait a minute, you can't do that. And it's like, no. So he has an obligation, you're saying, logically, to hit the brakes, get out of his car, and trade bullets with this woman in a gunfight to give her a sporting chance? Is that your argument? And this is like, y'all don't know nothing about police procedures, and you need to be quiet. Mm-hmm. Dude, I love dash cams and body cams. They are the great sanitizer. People, all this. Dude, you know as well as you know this. Without those dash cams and those body cams, it would have been, she was turning her life around. She was a good girl. Oh, by the way, she was a white girl too, in case you want to go there. Not that it matters, but the lawyers would have been like, they didn't give her a chance. They murdered her. They ran her down. And you know what? The truth is, the dash cam video, she earned that goddamn car. She earned it. And good for her. And it's awesome. It's, people are really kind of waking up to the bullshit with, and people are going to be shocked. The more. Well,
some people will.
Yeah.
Your little snowflakes out there who get offended by everything, will be shocked by it. But there's a lot of people out there that know how the real world works.
Have you?
Most of our listeners wouldn't be shocked by that.
You know what? Honestly, I'd say about half our listeners probably would be shocked.
I don't know about that. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Hey, do you remember all the drama with the people were calling in bomb threats to all these Jewish centers? The JCC's Jewish Community Centers. Are you familiar with that concept? Do you know what a Jewish Community Center is?
Not particularly.
What'll happen is, like, if a neighborhood, a lot of Jewish families will tend to live in the same neighborhood. That's not that, a lot of different ethnicities do that.
Well, yeah, sure.
So they end up building some little, like, it's not quite the temple, but it'll be the non-religious community center for Jewish people to, do whatever. And
go hang out and do Jew things.
Yeah, or have basketball night or do whatever they want to do. But they're they're around. There's somebody across the country has been like Germans have their like little shoots-in clubs and all that stuff. That's big if you live in a German neighborhood. Where you have Oktoberfest and all that kind of stuff. It's not uncommon for different ethnic groups to have their own little things. Yeah, sure. So somebody's been calling in these bomb threats, and it's been nationwide. And then they were tracing them, and they're like, they're originating from overseas, and a lot of the Jewish groups were getting upset. Even our friend Roger was commenting about it, and all that. And so it turns out they figured out a lot of it was coming from overseas, and so they finally got the international authorities involved, and they tracked it down, and they found out where they originated from. It was a 19-year-old Israeli Jewish male living in Israel.
Really?
Yep. With U.S. citizenship too.
Nice.
He's dual citizen.
So, what at the end of the day, what was his motive between calling in bomb threats to these Jewish centers?
They haven't released that yet, but it's probably not dissimilar from a lot of these people who, like the Muslims that go around and claim that they were assaulted by Donald Trump supporters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It becomes this thing, like you identify with this victimhood, and any ethnic group, people. Dude, I mean, in history, white people going around saying that, that black man looked at me, and, next thing you know, he's hanging from a tree or something, and a guy didn't do anything to anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people do this shit, and it's a bad character flaw. So we've reported on all the fake Muslim ones, and we've reported, they busted a guy. What the hell was it? Somebody had broken into a Jewish center. And they arrested this guy last week. They figured it out. He'd broken into some kind of, maybe it was a synagogue, and he had taken the menorah and twisted it all up in the shapes of swastikas.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And they arrested a dude, and it is a black guy.
Yeah. Oh well, I like the one where guy had swastikas spray painted on his garage door, and he wouldn't remove it, and the city council wanted to remove it because no one wants big swastikas on door, and he's like, my Jewish heritage, and I'm these I don't know who he was blaming for it, but it turns out it's like turns out he's not Jewish, and he did the swastikas himself. He's just
not Jewish either.
No, he's not even Jewish. Because they went around, what I don't know, synagogue, I guess, is where the Jewish, they went around all the, the synagogues, which ones he belonged to, and all these Jewish leaders are like, we don't know this guy. He's not a member. And they get into research. The guy's not even Jewish. And it turns out he spray painted his own garage doors with swastikas. I don't know if he's trying to gain attention. I don't know what the hell he was up to.
Yeah, it's all the same. It's the same thought process. When you glorify aggrievement, people become incentivized to be aggrieved. So, there's been a bunch of those, and I just wanted to give equal time because the Jewish Community Center thing was getting a lot of press, and the left-stream media was blaming Trump, and the rise of the Nazis and Trump, and it's anyone that that voted for Trump or is that now they're it's the radical, and somehow this is all like my fault because I support Trump, and and it's like no. First of all, I'm pro-Israel, first of all. And second of all, it turns out it was a Jewish guy in fucking Israel calling his shit in, just another jackass. Being a jackass is not limited to any one group. So, I saw that and I wanted to tell you about it. Hey,
that's awesome.
So, hey, you sent me a thing last night on a gun project. You wanna buy one of those J&G Milsurps?
Well, I wasn't necessarily saying we should buy it, but I was for the price. It was a darn interesting project gun. It apparently J&G has these gunsmith specials. They're 1916 Spanish Milsurps chambered in .308. And they want like $150 for them. And they're like, they could be missing parts, missing sight parts, cracked stocks. I mean, they're basically gunsmith specials. They're you fix ems. These things they're a rack. But, I was, hey, for $150, it's a .308 bolt action Mauser. Fix the stock, put Centerfire Systems has Mauser stocks, maybe put a synthetic stock on it, turn it into, like a scoped hunting rifle. I mean, I'm just saying, it'd be an interesting project piece. And I wasn't necessarily saying this particular gun, but, something along those lines,
I can't remember. Is .308 legal for Indiana now?
Yes, it is.
It is legal. Okay.
Yeah, .308's legal. It's 30 caliber.
I thought I just didn't know if there was like a carve out for some reason on .308. I just, it's interesting. I mean,
no, like I said, it could, like I said, I wasn't saying that. I just shot you the link just to say, hey, look, man, here's a freaking .308 Mauser for $150. That, granted, in its condition, it's, who knows what you would get when you got it at the end of the day, but. if it's got missing or damaged parts or cracked stock, and it could have broken parts on it, which is no big deal. You just fix it.
Sure. Well, you know what? You were working on the the Ross rifle project, and we discovered that the stock glue that you had dried up, so we had to order more, and it's coming in. So once you get the Ross rifle done, I don't think there's any other major projects hanging. I mean, we could pick that up.
No, I have. I should have the Ross rifle ready to rock next week. It should be completed and off the workbench next week. If all goes well. Then other than that, let's see, I've got a Kel-Tec that I got to give some loving to. And the only thing other than that is I've got that Finn Mosin that I had a custom stock made for, that I haven't done shit with that for like the last year and a half. That's kind of one of those perpetual projects that I really, really need to get to, but, it's back burner stuff.
Yeah, we actually, we have, should be here tomorrow. We had to order, we have some rings coming in. They're Badger rings, they're alloy, but I wanted some thinner ones. So for the 223 Blaser barrel, so we can get the Schmidt & Bender scope on it. The rings we had here were just they're a little bit too high, and I didn't want to. So they're on a truck. I'm hoping they'll be here Saturday, and then by next week I'll be able to we'll get a 223. Rifle up and running for some projects that we've discussed we wanted to do for a while, for some video and some content for people to show them some stuff, drills and things they can do cheaply, with precision rifles. And so we decided to do a 223 precision rifle just because it's cheap. The Blaser in itself is not cheap, but you can do this with whatever gun you've got, but I needed a caliber that was cheap to shoot. So we're going to even do it with Wolf ammo, or, we'll do some of it with, PMC ammo or something. So, there's a bunch of stuff coming up.
Yeah, well, the point is, it's not the gun they're mounted to. It's
the drill.
The drill. I mean, you can use any gun.
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
So, I'm going to explain this because our listeners may not understand it. We have a gym. We have a workout facility over here at the Armory. And I haven't told you this, Freeze. So we have a new piece of equipment coming in. It weighs it's not 600 pounds, but it's it's 500 and some pounds. And it has to be freighted in from, I can't remember if it's coming in from Massachusetts or somewhere. But the guy who sells this gym equipment, he sells, I guess, internationally, and he's saying it wasn't his fault. He's saying it was the LTL carrier, but for some reason our equipment that we purchased that was supposed to be here this past Tuesday, is in Texas. And then it was on its way to England.
What?
I know, which was why the hell would it go to Texas before it went to England? But so they caught it, and they're like, "I'm really sorry. We're going to try to get it. Hopefully you'll have it by Monday of next week." So I gotta keep a dock clear, and it's gonna. So basically, by Monday, I'm gonna be sitting here fiddling with 223 caliber rifles and scopes, waiting for a piece of gym equipment so we can get it to the end of the gym.
Jesus.
So yeah, I don't. Might as well tell you on a podcast because we got to tell you, and what the hell? That's what people want to listen to. I wish we had a really interesting show like Howard Stern or something, but that's real life.
Yeah,
so, So Do you think Trump has been vindicated on the spy scandal? On the spying? I think it's not a spy scandal yet.
I mean, yeah, look, I mean, I never put a whole lot of merit in it anyway, but look, it doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter, because the crazies on the left aren't going to believe anything anyway. They're going to believe what they want, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, we haven't talked about this too much, and I made one comment on Facebook about it, just using logic. And, a lot of people that listen to us are always surprised that they're like, man, you guys get so much stuff right. You predict so much stuff. And, I just said, look, I didn't say whether they had been spying on him or not been spying on him, but I made a logical observation. And this is using open source. This is using the media. This is using everything that we supposedly, quote, know. Okay? Like Chris Matthews, quote, knows this. Okay? Here's the logic they're all trying to say. The U.S. government has signal intelligence, SIGINT, spied on every United States citizen. Email, phone calls, all kinds of communications, metadata, XYZ123, except for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton's email server.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody?
Oh, sure it does. Sure it does.
Yeah. So, so just say that, and then you don't have to say anything else, and just let this play out, and people will eventually figure out some stuff. Now, here is some real analysis that this is real world, but the media doesn't say this, but everybody in Washington, D.C. knows this. Do you think the Chinese embassy in Washington, D.C., which is sovereign Chinese territory, or the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C., which is sovereign Russian territory, do you think those embassies have equipment to grab or monitor signals intelligence out of the air in Washington?
Of course they don't. Just ask them.
Okay. So here's another logical question. All right. When Barack Obama became president, Barack Obama went for the first time in a long time, was like, quote, the young president. Bill Clinton was a young president, but that was before it was before Al Gore invented the internet. So, yeah. So when Barack Obama, he's so fresh and so clean and has a great crease in his slacks, and he has his little cell phone. And there was a lot of chatter about, is the president still going to get to use his cell phone? And is he still using his cell phone? And then they eventually, I think they got him to use a BlackBerry. He did give up his BlackBerry, and then they're going to give him a BlackBerry. But here's the bottom line. Just consider this. This is under President Barack Obama. This isn't even talking about under President Trump. Can the President of the United States use his own cell phone in his own national capital and expect to not be monitored by foreign intelligence agencies? No. In case people don't know the answer to that, the answer is no. So if I'm Marky Zhu and I'm the, Marky Chow, and I'm the intelligence guy at the Chinese embassy in Washington, all right, I don't need to spy on the president. I don't need to spy on all these people that everyone says you need to spy, individual people or flag officers or whatever. You get so much information just harvesting the conversations and emails of people around these people, or the people around, like people that are working on projects, like the people designing the F-35. If you just monitored all the cell phone communications of people that work, that ancillarily work on the F-35 program, just imagine the kind of things you can either straight up learn because somebody gets lazy and says something over the phone, or just the things that you learn from them by what they don't say or what they go all of a sudden, hey, we can't talk about this. Can we go to whatever? I'll meet you in the skiff later. You know, people don't understand how out of control all this stuff is. Washington, D.C. is one big giant microphone, and everybody's stealing all that shit. And there was I didn't see it, but the media all made fun of it. Because Kellyanne Conway, she was talking about microwaves. Yeah, she said something about the microwave spying on you, because, you know, she got the you know, people were like, what do you mean your TV can listen to you? And they got cameras. You know, and we've warned everybody, you know. I mean, every computer's got a camera and microphone in it. Every phone's got at least 2 cameras and maybe 2 microphones in it. And, you know,
man, we've been talking about that for years.
Every vehicle's got microphones in it. And, you know, all this stuff we've been talking about. And here's the thing. She actually was telling the truth, but she was transposing because she's not a technical person. It is a known fact that there are techniques to... And this isn't like fancy new stuff. This is old technology. This is open source, and I'm discussing. You can use various signals and waves and laser beams even to detect and spy on. Like, for example, there's a certain type of laser you can aim it at a window pane, and you're able to pick up either conversations in a room, or you can pick up the keystrokes or the electronic emissions that are leaking out of a computer or an electronic typewriter because it's not shielded properly, or a Bluetooth device.
That's old technology.
That's old technology. See, so, you know, and so the whole microwave laser thing, she was actually kind of right, but she started getting microwave confused with television, and then the microwave radio technology, as opposed to, you know, the microwave you cook your stuff in. So
yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you don't hit a home run on it, the left is going to take it and they're going to run with it and try to make you look like an idiot.
But but to pull it back to Trump. Okay, I'm Marky Chow, and I'm the signals intelligence guy at the U.S. Embassy, at the U.S. mission for the, you know, People's Republic of China. And okay, there's 3 candidates for the Republican, you know, nomination, and there's 1 candidate for the Democratic nomination left. I'm spying on all them motherfuckers, because here's the thing: every one of these candidates has got like a military advisor, or retired generals or retired admirals that, like, you know, I'm Admiral so-and-so, and I support Hillary Clinton. I advise her on national security. Well, she's not a member of the government yet. Ted Cruz was not a member of the executive branch yet, and he's got people telling him what to think and what to say, and you can learn an awful lot about what American military posture thinks, positions, future positions, just by spying on all those people. My bottom line is, if the U.S. government wasn't spying on Donald Trump, it's probably the only government on the planet that wasn't spying on Donald Trump. Just sit back and wait. Trump's going to win this one. He is. He's going to win this one.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, well, you know, Trump's been winning a lot.
Oh, man, dude. I guess was it Tom Brady's jersey? And they were like, they're showing like some Mexican guy, or they recover it in Mexico, and they're blurring a guy's face, and they won't release his name. And it's like, oh, come on, you know. And then it turns out the guy's like, he's a member of the Mexican media. And dude, don't tell me that you're just not like, when you saw that, you weren't like, Trump's winning again. The wall just got higher. You know, it was like, oh, you fucking guys. I mean, like, if the guy that stole Trump's jersey was named Sven McSvenison, you know, I mean, that shit would have been like all over the goddamn. I mean, it would have been on TMZ. TMZ is reporting that Sven McSvenison has been arrested by the FBI in connection of the Trump jersey, or the Brady jersey theft. You know, and it's like, you know, when they don't report. Again, this is another version of the intelligence conversation that we just had about the candidates and national defense. What the media doesn't say or what they don't report or how they don't describe stuff tells you a lot. Okay, what the hell was it that happened the other? There was a local, somebody had broken into an apartment and tied up the guy and sexually assaulted the woman, and they didn't know who the person was, and it was whatever, and they haven't caught the person, and people were upset, and they described the person. They said it was a male. They said they didn't know who he was, and they said he had dark hair. And here's the thing. If the male was Caucasian, they would have said white. If the male was black, they would have either said light-skinned or dark-skinned, or they usually don't want to go all the way down that. Just by the way they described it to you and me, it's obvious how the media reports this stuff. It was like they're obviously looking for a Hispanic male. It was like, okay, but they don't want to say Hispanic male. You know, it's like, it was an Asian guy that attacked Parliament. There's a shooting in whatever neighborhood, and if you have any, the perpetrator was described as being, 5'7", and here's here's a drawing of him, but they don't even want to say what his race is. If you have any information, call us. But they don't. It's obvious that they're trying to not go down a certain path because they don't want to be. Somehow it's become acceptable to not tell the truth a lot of times, and it's just crazy. If you look for it, you'll see it every day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
but the thing is, it happens so much, people kind of become immune to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People don't even think about it. It's just like
it's better if you pay attention, if you're listening to this at home and you pay attention to the crime reports or the the blotter reports that are in what the media reports versus what's in the actual report, you'll see a difference. The police department isn't interested in with his dark hair. What race? What was there a race or ethnicity? What was the person's eye color? What was their body weight? Did they speak English? Did they have an accent? They wanted all this information, but the media gives you just a little bit, so they have to say something.
Here's the problem. If it was a Caucasian male, they'd have no problem saying, "Hey, it was a white guy." But if it's anyone, again, depending on the circumstances, if the guy, is Middle Eastern or Mexican or black, depending on the situation, where it goes against what their basic policies are, they're like, well, you know what, we're not going to tell them that, because we don't like the whole wall, we're not going to tell them that, this guy that we caught running, heroin up is a Mexican cartel guy that came across the border illegally. We won't tell them that. We'll just say, a guy was caught with heroin.
Wait a minute.
They selectively delete vital information.
Yes, because they don't want to contribute to a narrative that they don't like. After the last podcast we discussed the CPD 911 operator or 911 like shift supervisor, dispatcher, and she was scooped up in a drug cartel or in a big drug bust, and I was looking at it, I'm like, well, this is obviously cartel. This is probably Sinaloa because that's the territory, and considering what it was, and it was tractor trailer. And you had actually you had gotten more information from some CPD people. Are we allowed to discuss that right now? Or is that off the record?
No, I was just having a conversation with a CPD officer that I know, and I was laughing about it, and it was just like, we were just talking, and I'm like, so there was 600 pounds of pot. And they're like, yeah, and there was meth and heroin, 600 pounds of pot in her apartment. And I'm like, and 600 pounds, that's a lot of pot.
I know I can visualize 600 pounds of pot because I'm quite familiar with like a lot of pot.
Yeah, and I mean that's a lot of pot. I mean,
most people couldn't fit 600 pounds of pot in a coat closet.
No, and people, I mean, I guess the pot smokers out there that are listening, I mean, they may know what, an ounce is. Okay, well, times that by 16 and then times that by 600. That's 600 pounds that's a lot of pot. I don't have any numbers on how much meth or heroin was involved, but there was meth and heroin as well.
The meth is manufactured in Mexico in industrial factories because there's really no functional EPA because Mexico is a semi-failed narco state.
And as far as I know, there are no poppy fields in the United States either.
There are no poppy fields in the United States. Our climate isn't really that great for that. However, they've been bringing in so much heroin into Mexico. Actually, here's the because this is not. This is open source. One of the big ports for what is it? Acapulco? Yeah. Acapulco is a huge ingress point for heroin into Mexico. And actually for the cocaine too, but major parts of that port are controlled by a drug cartel, and it's a huge operation. But they're bringing in so much heroin, almost all the heroin that is in the United States comes through Mexico, and a lot of it. But it's becoming so successful that there are now reports that some of the in southern Mexico, some of the drug cartels are setting up grow operations for poppy fields.
Well, I mean, there's poppy fields in Mexico. That Mexican brown, that's been made for years.
Yeah.
I don't think it's of the quantity of the Middle Eastern or Asian, poppy fields. But still,
I think a lot of the Golden Triangle stuff got shut down, and that's why a lot of it ended up in Afghanistan.
Could be, but look, at the end of the day. The big thing about the wall, I mean, yeah, there's the whole thing about, the illegals coming across. And this is something that your anti-Trump, anti-wall people will never, ever acknowledge. It's the biggest part about building a wall and securing the border is the dope. Keep the heroin, keep the meth. I mean, people are going to be able to make meth here in the States, but they're not making heroin, Keep all that out. And what your anti-wall people will say is, well, heroin can come in from other areas. And that's true. Heroin does come through the Canadian border. Heroin does come through like Miami and New York and like San Francisco. I mean, they come in through those ports. I'm sure a certain amount of heroin does get through. But the truth is the bulk of your heroin that comes into the United States comes up through Mexico. And the reason why is it's a hell of a lot easier to get a cargo across the Mexican-U.S. border than it is to get it in through Miami's ports. And the truth is no drug cartel wants to see a shipment get jacked because it's money. It's depending on the amount, it's millions of dollars. So how do you get it into the United States without you always run a risk of getting caught, but the easiest way to get it into the U.S. without getting caught is run it up through the Mexican border.
Yeah. I mean, just through, they either do the semi-submersibles or they do the tunnels. The tunnels are the big one. The tunnels is the real volume because they can operate that tunnel. Like they can just pound that shit through there every day until they feel like it's compromised. And in Brownsville or something. And it's those are the real big ones. So hey, I wanted to ask you this because you're obviously our resident hunter guy, and I'm a baby hunter. Did you hear about the boy was injured and his dog was killed by a government cyanide bomb?
No, I haven't heard that.
So, I don't know if we discussed it. They're poisoning, let's see here. They're poisoning pigs in Texas because they're having so many problems with, let me see here. They're getting so overrun with the pigs that they can't shoot enough of them. So, they're using, it's a blood thinner, and they're putting it out into in the areas where they know there's a lot of pigs, and basically the pigs eat this stuff, and I assume they bleed. They bleed out.
Yeah, I think I heard something about that.
Yeah, we discussed it because you have Texas pig in your freezer, and I guess if you shoot if you now shoot a pig in Texas and you go to process it and you find blue or purple in the fat, you can't eat that pig because it's got this poison in it. Well, in Idaho, I'd never heard of this, dude. Salmon, Idaho. And this is a quote. Cyanide bomb planted by U.S. predator control agents targeted coyotes near homes and hiking trails in Idaho exploded when a boy handled a device, injuring him and killing his dog. Canyon Mansfield, 14, was playing with his yellow lab, Casey, on Thursday afternoon near his home east of Pocatello when he saw what he thought was a sprinkler head on the ground and touched the device, causing it to detonate. The explosion sprayed the boy and his 3-year-old 90-pound dog with toxic cyanide gas.
Wow, that's not good.
Yeah, so Canyon said it was like a bang or a bomb. There was a bang like a bomb, then explosion of an orange substance that covered him and Casey, who was writhing in pain on the ground before he died right in front of Canyon. See, the parents rushed to the scene, pounded on the dog's chest to do effort to revive the animal. The boy was sprayed in the face, was tested for cyanide poisoning at the hospital. The device, called an M44, was among several placed in the area by Wildlife Services, an arm of the U.S. Department of Agriculture, that targets coyotes, wolves, cougars, foxes, and other animals considered nuisances to farms and ranches. I've never heard of this thing.
Huh, neither have I.
Let's see, Thursday's incident marked the first unintentional lethal take of a dog by an M44 in Idaho since 2014. These devices are only set at the request of and with permission from property owners or managers. They are spring-activated and not explosive devices, according to the government. Bonnet County Sheriff Lauren Nielsen, who described devices as cyanide bombs, said no notice was given to authorities about their placement. I've been a sheriff here for 20 years and worked for the office for 39 years, and I've never heard of leaving around a device that emits poisonous gas. What the fuck?
That's interesting.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you think about that, dude, you have to, you cannot just drop these things willy-nilly anywhere. The only way to do these with even any semblance of responsibility, which, is like the responsibility of a landmine, you have to GPS locate every single one of these, and you have to either go out and, see if they've been set off, or you have to recover them if they haven't. You just can't drop these things.
Well, apparently they can. And it killed some kid's dog.
I'm surprised they didn't kill the kid, dude.
Yeah. Well, but what's interesting is here's an article from April of 2012. M44s lure animals with smelly bait, kills with cyanide.
Really? What state is that in?
This is Idaho, I believe.
Yeah, the same state.
Hold on a second. Let me double check this. Nope. Washington State. This is Washington State.
I mean, can't y'all just buy some guns and go hunting? I mean, is there anybody out there that doesn't want to shoot? I mean, let's see, hold on. What was there that doesn't want to shoot coyotes, wolves, cougars, and foxes? Yeah. Depot tags.
Hold on a second. It says, girl noticed her German Shepherd was missing. She shouted.
Oh, crap. So they had another one.
She found the dog lying in the bushes dead. He had salmon-colored foam coming from his nose. Blah, blah, blah. He was screaming, yeah, let's see. Okay, on a windy... this is in Utah in 2006. It says, Max joined the rank of thousands of non-target animals, wild and domestic, that have been mistakenly killed by one of the most lethal tools in wildlife services. Arsenals. Spring-loaded metal cylinders that are baited with scent and fire sodium cyanide powder into the mouth of whatever tugs on them. Known as M44s or coyote getters, they have been deployed across the West to protect livestock for 7 decades.
Holy shit! I wonder. Yeah. I mean, if you're a listener and you live in Idaho or Utah, I mean, is this I mean, you're walking in the woods, you go, oh shit, don't touch that thing.
Let's see. This guy, Carter Niemeyer, 65, is a former Wildlife Services district supervisor. It says, when I was working, they killed grizzly bears, they killed black bears, they killed cows. They're indiscriminate.
Like a landmine.
Even placed with the utmost care. Wow.
Well, that's why the world doesn't like landmines and submunitions, because they get left laying around, people forget about them, and you can't find them, and people step on them. Whereas, the U.S., we keep them, we use them as barrier defense or zone defense. We set up known minefields, so we refuse to sign the International Landmine Convention.
Now, check this out. This article was in April of 2012, and it says, right here, it says, agency records show that more than 3,400 animals have been mistakenly killed by M44s since 2006. That's 3,400 mistakenly killed animals in 6 years.
Yeah, dude, that's in one state. That's not a mistake. Okay, look, you put a poison ham sandwich on the ground. How long is it going to take until something comes up and tries to eat it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a mistake.
Yeah, and it says here, at least 18 employees and several members of the public have been exposed to cyanide over the past 25 years. None died, but many have been treated for nausea, blurred vision, and other symptoms. Wow, this is pretty freaking interesting. I mean, if anyone here lives out west where they're using these and knows anything more about it, please comment.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it doesn't, it'd be one thing if maybe you could bait in like 10 animals and like take out a whole pack of them. But this is onesies and twosies.
Yeah, that's messed up.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Not that I'm like this bleeding heart whatever person.
No. I mean, look, I understand. Certain animals need to be controlled.
Oh, sure they do.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but honestly, there's better ways to do it. And what I'm not, look, you've got a coyote problem in a certain area and you want to thin the coyote herd, that's fine. But, man, I'm telling you, putting little cyanide bombs out there that are going to kill, raccoons and squirrels and dogs and other, it's like, nah, dude, man, no, I don't dig that at all.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this thing, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, if one of those was within a mile of your house, your dog would find it.
Well, not my dog because I don't let him run, but still, I mean, yeah, that is seriously not cool.
I mean, you would have to put these in areas that are so remote, but then, I don't know the logic of it. I don't know. I'm surprised you hadn't heard of it either because it's pretty bizarre. Hey, the next time you I want to get off this. I want to change here. The next time you see some kids with their hot shit import tuner car, chopped and dropped little, neon lights and zipper cars. I don't think the kids do the neon lights anymore. Show my age. But I have got a story out of the UK, dude. I've never heard of this before. Let's see here. A tragic young couple was found dead in a car, were killed after breathing in poisonous fumes from the air vents caused by a vehicle modification that went wrong. Nikki Willis, 23, was found in a blue Ford Fiesta in Chelmsford alongside her car enthusiast boyfriend, Tim Putt.
Okay, let me interrupt here. I already am going to declare fake news on this because no car enthusiast would have a Ford Fiesta.
In England, dude, this is in the UK. So to them, that's like, wow, you got 4-hole cylinders and it uses gasoline as opposed to a battery?
Okay.
Dude, wow. I told you years ago, I used to have a Chrysler Sebring convertible. And I remember...
chick car.
Yeah, and... I was at this light, and this kid pulled up next to me, and he's in this little race car, and he goes, "Hey, man, that car's got like a 6-cylinder in it, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's got a 6." He's like, "Man, that's awesome." And it took me a minute to realize this kid, because he's so used to living in a little 4-cylinder world, that to him, a little teeny Chrysler Sebring plastic car 6-cylinder engine was like hot shit to him. And I'm thinking of when I was his age or you were his age, I mean, 454, I mean, you know what I mean? Like Cudas and like major muscle cars.
Yeah.
I'm just damn, son.
Yeah, I remember I had a 71 Cuda that had a baby engine. It had a 318 in it. That was a baby Cuda.
Yeah.
Which would just totally blow these kids away.
Yeah, I had a friend. He had a Mustang Fastback, and it had a little engine, and it was a 289. And it was like, it was a hot little car. It was all right. But so anyway,
speaking of fastbacks, a good friend of mine, he actually just retired this past fall. When he was in college, right before he got his first cop job, he bought a Boss 351. And he still has it.
He kept it. Okay.
Yeah, still has it to this day. And he's had several muscle cars over the years. He's a car guy, but he bought it. He stopped by the house, and I'm like, "Man, you bought a fastback?" And he's like, "Oh no." He said, "That's a Boss." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Let's go for a ride." But anyway, go on with your story.
Oh, so I mean, it was just apparently the. Let's see here. They have, again, and this is an example of how, video is changing the world, because this kid, he's modifying this car. They did something to the car so it would backfire and shoot flames out of the exhaust.
Okay. And
they have video. They every kid's on Instagram now or Snapchat and putting videos up of their stuff. And, he's showing off and like, oh, look at the flames coming out. And, and it's this car. And he had done stuff to the car and something was leaking in the engine compartment and was going into the exhaust or going into the climate control of the cabin area. And they never detected it. And he must have been sitting with his girlfriend in front of her house, sitting and talking in the car while I was running. They both ended up passing out and dying.
Fooling around.
I don't think they found him naked, but you never know.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of that one before either, so I thought it was interesting.
Wow, that's crazy. But I don't know. Maybe they had some. If he was shooting flames out of the exhaust, maybe he had some kind of, I don't know, propane or some other kind of gas.
I don't know what they do because the thing, again, this is the difference between our generation and these kids. If you're a kid and your idea of like a super hot shit engine that you can get access to is a 6-cylinder. You're really not a performance-based car, so you have to be basically kind of like a circus act. You know what I mean? Yeah. You got to have doors that open funny. You got to try to shoot flame out of something. You got to, have it bounce up and down because you're not getting performance out of that car. You got to tune it. So maybe they, I don't know. Does nitrous burns too clean for it to shoot flames out, doesn't it?
Hell, I don't know. But I mean, why would you waste nitrous on exhaust flames?
Yeah, see, I don't know the scene in England, so it's.
I have no clue. I really don't. I don't know how you get flames to shoot out. I know how I could get flames to shoot out of an exhaust pipe, but that has, but that has to do with a high performance engine, Yeah. So. I don't know, man. That's weird, but whatever he did, he won't be doing that again.
Won't be doing that again, no. So, hey, we've kind of started up the YouTube channel, and this is more of a conversation you and I have with each other than with our listeners, but we've got John1911 the blog page, and there's videos on the blog page, and all the videos, if you click them and watch them or do whatever, you will notice that they are not hosted on YouTube. So you can't watch a video on John1911 then click a YouTube link and go visit our quote YouTube channel. I keep them separate. And the reason I do that is I don't want to spend a couple of years posting YouTube videos because you have to put the code in, embedding YouTube videos into our blog page, then to have YouTube at some point down the road do something to hurt us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm, so, yeah. And, some people disagree with that because YouTube is the biggest game in town, and there's monetization, and there's all this other kind of stuff. And that's why we're also dual posting our videos on YouTube. Well, you don't know this, Freeze, because you don't follow this kind of stuff. But I guess it was, who was it? So YouTube, some of the big advertisers on YouTube, who the hell was it? I don't know if it was like Coke and Pepsi, but some of the big companies, they were pissed off because what they do is, like you watch a lot of the YouTube videos, reason, so you'll see commercials, right?
Yeah.
So, and either the commercials will show up as before the video starts, that's called a pre-roll, and then some of the videos or some of the commercials, there'll be stop points in the video where it'll switch to a commercial. Most of those pre-roll commercials and those stop point commercials, they're not like Pepsi doesn't say, hey, I want to run a commercial in the middle of a Nut and Fancy video, or I want to run a commercial in the middle of a Demolition Ranch video. What they do is they buy it's called programmatic banner advertising, and programmatic video advertising. So they buy it in blocks, and they try to do it based. They don't really say how they do it. I don't know if maybe we don't get access to it because we don't spend money, or maybe YouTube keeps it kind of quiet because they don't want to show their hand. But they promise you'll reach certain demos and certain goals. And so these companies were buying this programmatic advertising, and what was happening is there were like Pepsi commercials and Tide commercials rolling in videos for like Al Qaeda or KKK extremist videos, or all this content that people, they're just stroking them big checks to try to get big traffic numbers, not actually paying attention to where these ads are running. And it's they're pissed, and so a lot of these companies they're boycotting Google until Google can clean up their shit. They're pulling all the YouTube advertising. Well, what's happening is now YouTube is starting to clamp down. They did it somewhat, but they're doing it more on if they define content as being offensive, and so they're not allowing monetization. So, like, if you have a YouTube video of you cutting someone's head off and you're saying Allah Akbar and 12 million people around the world watch it because it's 12 million news agencies, they're not going to let you monetize that video. Whereas before they were, because it's all about the traffic. And that's where a lot of people don't realize that. Well, the change where we talked about, where the advertising money and monetization of I'm curious if some of these gun channels on YouTube are going to start getting hurt by this.
Well, I know a couple people that have publicly announced that they're being hurt by it. And,
really?
And this is, I was hearing this a year ago.
See, you were always on my ass about doing podcasts, and you were on my ass about doing videos. And so, we're doing the podcast, and it's really worked out. And we're doing the videos, we're building it, but I don't really consume other people's content. I don't watch other people's stuff or listen to it. So I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. What's going on? Are all these gun channels that are making money, are they not making money now?
Well, the particular person that, I'm not going to mention a name, but the particular person that I know is he's a black guy. He's a conservative, and he's not so. He is a gun guy, but it's not so much about guns. He talks more politics, and basically, he was saying a year ago that that there's no money in YouTube anymore for guys like him.
Really?
Whereas they used to make money. And he's like, he was saying one of the myths is all these guys with big YouTube channels, are making millions of dollars. And he's just like, yeah, I got news for you. He's like, what little bit of money I was making, I'm not making now. And he went into how YouTube has changed he went into details, basically kind of like what you were saying, not maybe to that degree, but he was explaining, how they changed and why they changed. And basically guys like him are not seeing any money.
Well, you know what? because I'm paying some attention to YouTube now because we're on it. I have to monitor our stuff. And one of the things I learned, like we don't like our YouTube channel. I put it up as a courtesy. I have to monitor it. People want to interface with us on YouTube, and it's easy for them. No big deal. But we've only got like a few hundred subscribers, and it's as opposed to these people that have 50,000, 100,000, 1 million, 5 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Apparently what's happened is YouTube has changed their business model the exact same way Facebook has. It used to be, and a lot of people don't know this, if you had a Facebook page with a couple 100,000 people on it, you could reach those people.
Yeah.
Now, you don't reach anybody.
Nope.
And here's a perfect example. I posted there were three 3 posts over like a 12-hour period on our Facebook page, and I can't remember what the first one and the last one were. It was, I don't even know what it was, but the one in the middle was talking about that incendiary flamethrower for rocket thing. Because remember, I was it was outside of Texas. I was in this guy's, he was a Milsurps collector. I was looking at his private collection, and I was trying to buy stuff off the dude, and he wouldn't really let any of it go unless it was like stupid prices. And so I took some pictures, and one of the pictures I took was of this, it's like a 4-round bazooka thing. I can't remember what it was called. The only time I'd ever seen one was in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called Commando. Okay, I'm saying all this to prove a point. This post was on Facebook for 3 hours, and it had reached one person. In like a 12 or 14-hour period, it was 2 people. And I was like, holy shit. And the stuff in front and behind it had reached thousands of people. Well, what had happened was Facebook saw bazookas or rockets or something, some keyword in it. And the first post was, let me see here. I can't see what it is right now, but it was something. And then it was the M202A1 flash bazooka, which is really like a flamethrower, and that got no traffic on. Oh, dude, it's even now. This has been up for 2 days. Dude, this has been up since March 22nd. Today's the 24th. It has reached 2 people.
Nice.
And then, the post after it is about being Asian, and attacking Parliament. And it's got tens of thousands of people have reached it. Have seen it, but, because Facebook has seen that as guns, rockets, military ordnance, they were like, nope, they throttled the hell out of it. Just basic. They had to try hard.
I'm actually looking at the stats on that post. 2 people reached, and man, it's all 0 clicks, 0 link clicks, 0 hide posts. Usually when we have a post that reach, 20, 30,000 people, you're going to have a fair amount of negative feedback. Well, not a fair amount, but we're going to have some negative feedback because it reaches so many people. It's all zeros. No one has seen this post.
Well, the only way no one has seen that is Facebook made an effort for them not to see it.
Yes.
And this is coming to YouTube. And there's a lot of people that are on YouTube that are fat. And they're going to take a big haircut, and they're going to be going on a diet because they're not used to living. We've got nowhere to go but up on YouTube because, we're just doing it just to do it. But it's just an example of how everything is changing. Mm-hmm. And, it makes you wonder what's going to be the future of gun content, on YouTube. The next Sandy Hook. Let's say it doesn't happen for another 10 years. Or, whether it's here or in England or somewhere else, or it's an Asian guy, shows up somewhere and does an Asian thing, but it'll be an excuse to, modern sporting rifles and military stuff will all be throttled and kicked off Facebook and, possibly YouTube.
Yeah. It's shit like that's coming.
It's coming, and that's why you always got to have there's all these people, they don't have their own, at the end of the day, that's why we decided to diversify away from Facebook and YouTube is why we have the podcast, we have the blog page, because, I can post stuff like this bazooka thing that we've got that, we're trying, I was trying to buy it. I couldn't buy it. Before, if I would put that organically on Facebook, it would be gone. It would be just stuff that we just produced. There'd be no record of it. Nobody's going to go back. It's not searchable. No one's ever going to find it. And it's just gone. And eventually when Facebook, changes again, it's like all that work has just gone away. And this isn't a perfect example of why I don't string in YouTube stuff into our blog page. I pay big money for the video hosting for our blog page, and dude, we can post anything we want. As a matter of fact, the same hosting service that we use, a lot of the high-end porn sites use that because, you know, you can literally create a paywall, pay money, and go in, you know, I mean, you could post crazy shit and nobody can get to it unless you want them to get to it. And, you know, it's not free. But at the end of the day, it's a better play than just being dependent on YouTube and Google and their good graces because, you know, it may be easy to you know, you post a video, you cut and paste, you put the code in your website, no big deal. There's a window, it automatically plays. They handle all the back end stuff with the video. They may make sure that, you know, the Apple 47 model phone that the video will play on that phone, you know, 10 years from now, they take care of all of that. But the problem is, you know, when they decide to cut your balls off, you're done. I mean, you're going to have to go back and like try to rehook all that stuff into a new service. You're fucking dead meat. It's just terrible.
Oh, man, you know, you've been running videos on YouTube for 5-6 years, and you've got, you know, a couple thousand videos on there. You got to start from scratch.
Oh,
and, I mean, you're done. I mean,
look at you know, when they shut down Hickok 45, they shut him down, and then look at Nut and Fancy. I mean, if you know, these people have been doing videos since what, 2008 maybe?
A long time.
I mean, you know,
a long time.
How many man hours would it take Nut and Fancy?
It'd take him a year.
Oh, maybe longer.
Just to repost everything he's previously done.
Yeah, and rewrite all the descriptions and all the tags, and you have to remember everything you said unless you got copies of it. I mean, people don't realize all the work that goes into this content. You know, it's not just the video, it's the descriptions, it's the tags, it's, you know, what, you know, there's shit where you know, like when I post this podcast, when it, you know, we finish in post-production, give it to Mitch, boom, boom, boom. He processes it. I put it up. I get the file loaded up onto the server. I put the show notes in, and there's a couple things I remember, like, oh yeah, we talked about this, we talked about that. It's not written down, but I remember it. I put it in there. If that goes away, I've got no record of what the hell I wrote in there.
Oh, you're screwed.
You're screwed. And, you know, that's just a simple podcast. You know, how's Nut and Fancy
how's Nut and Fancy, who's got, you know, a 45-minute to an hour, you know, to an hour 15-minute video, and he's got to, you know, write descriptions and all this, you know.
Oh shit! At some point, he would have to watch. He'd be like, okay, Sig P226 video. Oh, what the hell happened in that video? Was that the one that worked, or was that the one that didn't work? I guess I have to watch my own video to find out what the hell happened so I can rewrite the description. You see, I mean, people don't realize the amount of work, these people that are they're so in bed with YouTube that it's devastating. They're so dependent on it. And, you know, it's costing us money to do it our way. But you know what? If it all goes away, we're still here. Just Google us, go to our page. We're still here.
Well, and the thing is, it saves us money in the long run.
It's, you know what? It saves us. It's money. It's money to save me time, which is money to me. So, yeah. Yeah.
But let's get on to something interesting.
Yeah, I know. We're just kind of rambling bullshit today. Hey, okay. A Mexican bullfighter took 11 inches of bullhorn up his anus the other day.
You know what?
I love that shit.
You are so fixated on bullfighters taking the horn. I don't care.
Dude, I love bullfighting. And you know what? I haven't posted a bullfighting story in like probably a year and a half. Sometimes you get sometimes you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Is that what they say?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Go ahead.
So, the old Western Scrounger. You familiar with old Western Scrounger?
You know what? I know the name because you've mentioned it to me, but I don't remember what it is.
Well, he started out, you know, if they had some out of production ammunition, you could find a lot of just unusual stuff, you know, like old ammo that they don't make anymore, you know, and he would sell them for ridiculous prices and shit like that, you know, but you could get them. And he's expanded just like everyone else. Well, you know what he has in right now for the low, low price of $199.95?
Is it ammo or a gun?
It's neither. It is a reproduction 1903 A4 sniper scope with rings and mount.
Dude, I've got pictures of those. They were selling those at Camp Harry. I just didn't post pictures of it. How much does he want for it?
I said at the beginning, $199.95.
I don't know if that seems like a good price.
$200 is a good price.
Where is it coming from? Because I think the repops are $700.
Well,
wait, is that the short scope or the A4 is the short scope, right?
No, it's a long scope.
Well, you know, AIM has 1903s in stock right now.
Let's see, they've got 34 units in stock. It's made by, he's got a picture of the box here, Sun Optics USA. Never heard of them.
I've never, let's see here, Old Western, OWSammo.com. Let me see here.
Old Western Scrounger.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm looking, that's the short optic. And you know what? That mount, I don't know if that's a correct mount for a 1904. That is definitely the short optic. Which, and being an A4 probably, well, I mean, you would think A4 would be the latest iteration. That would probably be okay. Because, you know, like
well, anything we put on it would be okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, his website is like dog shit. I mean, his website is fucking terrible, dude.
Yeah, I know.
It's not even loading his images.
Yeah, I know. It's not loading the images, and it's kind of a hard website to follow.
Yeah, that's the, because I have to look at a 1903. I don't think they had a base like that. See how his base is a solid base that's kind of like a modern where it goes across the top. I don't know if, you know what? I'll just Google it real quick. 1903 A4. Let's just do an image search because I don't know them. Yeah, the A4's got it's got the short optic on it, which is probably, well, you know what? That looks like that base is correct. That matches.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it's correct because it's a reproduction 1903 A4 sniper scope.
Because I figured it was two separate rings. I didn't know it was a connected base. I've never looked that closely at the A4. The thing is, though, you would need to. There's a dovetail at the back at the bridge of the receiver. I don't know how you'd get that onto a regular 1903. I mean, you probably have to have a receiver that's cut as an A4 receiver to mount that, because you can't. I don't think you can drill and tap that. That would be major machining to do that.
Maybe
that's part. Yeah, that's probably part of the reason. What's AIM got? AIM surplus. Go to their guns. They've got their bolt action rifles. Oh, come on. New. I can't find it. Are they sold out already? I guess. I can't check. I can't see. AIM's had some kind of 1903. Oh, you know what? They're sold out. They're gone. They were 2 days ago. They had 1903 A3s, and the A3 has the really nice rear peep sight. But you know what? I bet you that rear peep fits in a dovetail. It's probably the same dovetail that the A4. So you drill and tap the front ring.
Nope. Let's see.
And you slide the dovetail on the rear ring?
If it's got an A4 barrel, it's all dovetailed. I'm reading up on it right now. basically there's
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a completely different machined.
Yeah.
So, the only way to buy that would be to find an A4 rifle. So, which, you're kind of, I don't know how common that is or not common with the, we don't have an 03. I'd like to have one eventually, but, I would probably want to have it as a sniper, as a repro sniper, which is part of the reason why I never bite on the aim guns, the A3s, because they're cool, but I don't need another iron-sighted gun. So,
yeah, I just thought it was interesting. It was a decent price.
Does he sell CNR? Does he accept CNR licenses?
Oh yeah, I'm sure he does.
Okay.
He's also got some Spanish Mausers, scratch and dent, crack stocked Mausers.
Is it cheaper than J&G?
Yeah, he's got them for $99, but they're in 7x57. So.
Oh, okay.
So
he's $100. He's $100, or he's $50 or $100 cheaper than J&G.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, who really cares? Because I don't really want a 7mm Mauser.
I don't either. Not in a turnbolt Mauser. I mean, not just a regular old Mauser.
Especially if it's a scratch and dent special. I know. I mean, if I want a U-Fixum, basically pile of crap that I've got to work on, I want it in a caliber that I can do something with. And 308 is definitely something I can do something with. 7mm Mauser, not that there's anything wrong with 7mm Mauser, I just don't want to mess with it. It doesn't do anything for me.
I don't disagree. Hey, you know what? We're going to wrap this up on a technical note. I'm going to ask you, because we're going a little long here. Do you think kids? When I say kids, I mean shit, we're old. So do you think a 20 or 25-year-old, or maybe even 30-year-old gun person today, and by the mere fact that I'm asking this question, some of them are going to be smart and be like, they know it's a trick question, and they're basically going to look for the problem. But do you think a 25 or 30-year-old gun person today would be able to tell the difference between a blank round and a full wadcutter round?
I would hope so.
Well, okay, what about a wadcutter round that's completely recessed in the case?
You mean like a 7.62 Nagant round?
Yeah, actually, yes. Yes, exactly like that.
Yeah, you should be able to tell the difference quite easily.
There was check this out. I'll tell you what, I looked at the pictures and I can see how they made this mistake. There was a Citizens Academy in Punta Gorda, Florida. I assume it's Florida. I don't know why. Punta Gorda Police Department. They were having a Citizens Academy and they were doing a force-on-force drill. And what they had done is they gave the role players in this scenario, they gave them 38 special revolvers loaded with blanks. And there was some woman who was a citizen of this academy. She was in her 70s. And she ended up being shot and killed by a loaded handgun. Somebody screwed up.
Okay.
And, everybody's wringing their hands and they're doing all this and doing all that. And, because all these experts on the internet, no one ever fucks up, It's like no one ever drops their gun, all this bullshit.
Yeah.
And, and all the instructors basically are, every instructor out there uses this as an excuse to promote himself. I'm better, so hire me. This won't happen to you.
Yeah.
And it turns out they were using, I'm not used to these kind of blanks. I haven't touched blanks. I haven't touched a blank round, an actual blank round, since 2008. And the blank rounds that we used to use, the blanks they're brass, brass cases, and they're crimped. The brass case is crimped.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what it was is with the blank rounds this department is using, and maybe these are common. They're 38 specials. It's a straight wall case, and instead of the end of the brass being crimped,
it's got a cardboard plug.
It's got a cardboard plug, and if you set that right next to a full Wadcutter, recessed Wadcutter, which is a horrendous fucking round, by the way. It's kind of amazing all these people that are obsessed with hollow points and they don't know shit about Wadcutters. But
I've actually got a box of old police. It came from CPD. It's a box of old 38 special Wadcutters.
You know what? We've got some here in the armory that we got from one of the local PDs as well. I'll probably have to take some pictures of it. But here's the thing: you set this 38 special round with it's flush with a cardboard plug in it, and probably a little like plastic seal or something.
I mean, I've seen the blanks. I've seen the blanks with cardboard plugs, but honestly, I wonder if those were reloaded blanks, because most of the factory blanks that are like, 38, 357 are usually crimped.
The thing is, I don't, because here's the thing. I've never reloaded blanks. I've never seen anybody reload blanks. And knowing these police departments and how their insurance works, I can't imagine there's reloaded shit anywhere.
Well, that could be true. I mean, because, I'm not going to profess to be an expert on blanks because I don't really mess with blank rounds at all. But most of the ones I've seen are crimped. But I mean, I have seen the blanks with cardboard plug.
See, I've never seen that in real life, and I've only done the crimped ones. And so apparently this cop, he loaded this ammo and he thought it was blank ammo. And you know what? Everybody can have a shit attack, and they can all claim to, be experts, and this will never happen to you. But look, this guy's probably 30. Okay. Well, no, wait a minute. Let me finish. He's probably 30. He grew up in the age of the Wonder 9. He grew up in the age of high-capacity Glocks. Revolvers are old man dinosaur guns. And the only reason they're using revolvers in this exercise is because it's the only way to make everything cycle for these blank fucking rounds. And he's never seen this shit before, and he screwed up. And everybody, this never happens. This could never happen to me.
I know that's the whole AD/ND argument all over again. But my question is, why did they have Wadcutters and blanks on the firing line at the same time?
Well, that's where you're into the whole again. But if you accept the premise of my question.
But listen to what I'm saying though. Okay. Wadcutters are not, man, let's face it, there's not a whole lot of places using Wadcutters anymore. It's kind of an unusual round to have.
Okay, there's only two ways I can think of this Wadcutter round is even in this universe. One of two ways. The first way is I'm Mr. Smart gun guy like you and me, and we want to show everybody how smart we are, and we want to give all of these citizens their full value, and we want to tell them the history of every goddamn gun and every goddamn caliber from frickin' flintlock frizzin' pans all the way up to the 4-phase plasma rifle to the 40-watt range. So you've got some of these rounds. Maybe they were introduced that way, but the truth is, dude, none of these cops. These Wadcutters were probably being handled as if they were blanks because they look so. They were like, "Oh, what's that? Oh, that's a fucking blank." That's what I'm saying. If you don't know what you don't know, and the first time if you set Wadcutters and blanks in front of somebody and they've never seen that shit before, I was looking at this photograph from this incident. I was like, "Holy fuck, dude! People could make that mistake." It's very easy to see that. Some guy who's not like an old guy, Doesn't know shit about fucking revolvers. Never saw that shit before. And it's so close. It was crazy.
But, I mean, I've been around blanks and I've been around wadcutters more than blanks. But, I mean, I never say never. I mean, I'm never one to say, oh, that would never happen to me, because I've had crazy things happen to me, and I'm not one of the internet douchebags that go around saying, oh, there's never such thing as a negligent discharge or an accidental discharge. They're all negligent. You know, I'm not that jackass. I mean, I understand shit happens, and I never claim that could never happen to me, because I've had weird shit happen that, you know, it is what it is. But, but in all fairness, to me, there's a big difference between a wadcutter and a blank. I mean, there is. I understand maybe these younger guys that aren't real familiar with wadcutters, you know, but you know, it's a pretty big mistake.
Most people, well, obviously it is. Most people aren't that familiar with blanks.
You know, I mean, I'll admit, most of the blanks that I've been around were crimped blanks. The only blanks that I've ever seen that had plug, you know, like they were full case brass with a cardboard plug on the end, were 7.62 rounds for
the Nagant revolver.
No, well, the 7.62 Nagant revolvers are recessed. They're like wadcutters, but linked 7.62 for the M60 blank rounds. They're a full case shell, and where the projectile is, the brass extends up, and it's got a cardboard plug on the end.
It's got a neck, and there's a plug in the neck.
No, it's got a neck, but where it necks down, but where, like, if you take a live 7.62 bullet cartridge, you know, it tapers to the neck, and then there's the bullet in the case. Well, the blank necks down, but the case extends up the length of the bullet, and then it's got a cardboard plug on the end, so it's the same length as a live round.
Okay.
And 9mm blanks, which are a full case. You know, they're not crimped. They're the exact length of a loaded round, and then it's got a plug on the end. Otherwise, they wouldn't cycle.
Yeah, the ones I'm used to, the crimped ones. And they're longer, but you know, the thing is, I mean, dude, they may have loaded all these guns with these wadcutters. I mean, this may not be a situation where one bullet was a wadcutter and it got through. They may just have not known, and there could have been 3 people with freaking loaded guns and just didn't even realize it, because they, you know, oh, here's a box. Oh, it's blanks.
Well,
it's just like these blanks. Oh, it's a different the box is a different manufacturer, so they're going to look different. Those are PPU. These are Samson specials.
Yeah,
I'm telling you what. I was looking at this photograph. And I mean, no one knows everything. And I looked at that photograph, and I literally learned something that I had never thought of before. I was like, holy fuck. I'd never considered that possibility. And dude, I've been doing this for 30 years. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's a crazy thing, you know, and that's a messed up mistake.
Yep, it's a messed up mistake. Maybe I'll try to dig some out, and some of the blanks we've got and whatever. But you know, I mean, look, it's a lesson learned. But I would caution people on some level. I get a little tired of it. You know, every time there's a car accident, you know, you don't see local AAA driving school run a commercial basically saying these people fucked up and they're assholes. This will never happen to you if you learn to drive at AAA driving school. But man, gun instructors do that shit all the time on the internet.
I know. I hate the whole. It falls back to the situational awareness, the ADND. I mean, you know,
And there's some major instructors that I actually respect. And I mean, I'm telling you what, part of me's been, I just keep my mouth shut. And, you know, if I ever get the opportunity to tell them in person, be like, hey man, you should really reconsider how you present some of this stuff, because you're coming off like a fucking ambulance chaser. I know you think you're special because you're smart and everybody else is stupid, but us on the outside looking in, you look like a fucking ambulance chaser, one of a million. Yeah. And I'm telling you what, it's a bad problem in our industry.
Oh, it is. It is. It's infuriating, you know.
All right. We're gone long. It's over an hour and a half, so.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
This wraps up episode 58 of the John1911 Podcast. If you want to follow up on our blog page and see about Wadcutters versus blanks, I'll try to get something up. Go to our the website is john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Our sound engineer is Mitch at A&M Promotions, and we appreciate your time, everybody. Have a good day.
See you later.